guys, Dave from RD's Strength Training here. This is part 2 of the Kettlebell swing tutorial. In the last video we took to the basic progressions. We started out with your deadlift, we took that into your Romanian deadlift, both of which are to teach you the hip hinge, good posture to the upper back, chest high, shoulders back. Then we looked at rocking the hip backward and forward just to find your rhythm of the bell, before we then emphasise the back swing. Okay? If you look back at the kettlebell swing tutorial part 1, you'll get all that in full detail. Now, where you go from there, there's several ways of progressing the lift. You can do what we call the hard style or sprint style swings. You can go into more sport, endurance style swings. You can play around one-handed walking swings, switching hands, there's a whole variety of stuff, alright? Before you get into that, you really need to master the basic swing and the one-handed swing, alright? Common problems that we see. I might use that one. Get a light bell for this. Very, very common problem that we see with beginners. As they swing, as the bell comes back, they sit back way before the bell comes back to them, alright? When you're in that position, the bell's still out here, you've already set the hips back, the lower is transferred directly into the low back. You've got a very long lever arm there, there's an awful lot of force goes into that low back. You don't need that, alright? It's a short route to hurt yourself basically. There's a lot of back injuries coming out of bad instructors teaching bad technique with kettlebells. And a lot of it is to do with they're not correct enough. This. Okay? If there's a disconnection between the arm and body, you're not going to get the power transferring from the hip into the arm, which is going to make the kettlebell fly. Alright? It's important that you wait for the arms to come back and actually make contact with the body. Only at this point will you then push the hips backwards. Okay? Once you're loaded here, as the hip comes through, the arms stay in contact with the body for as long as possible. They only break contact when the hip stops moving and momentum takes them away. Okay? So you wait for the arms to come back. Once they make contact, push that bell through. As you come back, keep the arm in contact with the body for as long as possible until your hip stops moving and momentum carries that arm forward. Okay? So, you wait. Okay? So you see there? I'm not sitting back before the bell, I'm waiting for it to make contact. Bang. That now is pushing me through. Taking me back into this position. Okay? Then drive through. The arm doesn't release from the body at all. If you wish, and this is a technique we use to teach the clean as well, you can actually try and keep your elbows attached to the body the whole time. Okay? This will tighten up your swing technique and it will prevent a lot of those common mistakes. The other, probably the simplest, quickest way of self-correcting the swing, grab yourself a towel, a rope, something you're going to hang on to. Alright? You simply slot that through the handle. And from there, you get that rhythm going. Okay? This very quickly, as you can see, very quickly becomes a self-corrected drill. It's also very good for grip training, very hard on the hands. Okay? Just doing that on its own will sort out a lot of problems. Okay? Very quickly you'll notice that if the bell is dangling, it's hanging down loose, it shows you trying to lift with your arms and shoulders as opposed to your momentum from the hip. Okay? If the bell is swung properly, you'll notice a nice straight line from the shoulder all the way through out the end of the bell. Okay, it stands proud. You don't want a droopy bell. Okay? You'll also notice straight away, because of the extra bit of length of the towel, I'll show you more like that, if you sit back early, chances are you're going to hit the floor. Okay? So if you're sitting back early, if you're going to have me doing this, chances are you're going to be hitting the floor. Alright? That's instant feedback. It provides information that you can very, very quickly then start to correct. Okay? The third and final correction, this is something Steve Cotter showed us recently, is to actually place a second kettlebell on the floor. This is to correct those people who tend to squat as opposed to hinge. Okay, the kettlebell is a hinge movement at the hip. The hip moves backwards and forwards, as opposed to a squat from the knee in an up and down pattern. Okay? So if you find yourself using the squat variation, just stand over the second kettlebell. Now, if you swing that, you'll be fine. Okay? If you use a squat technique, well, straight away you find out what happens. Alright? There's just a few little methods of correcting up your two-handed swing. Okay? In the next video, we'll progress that onto the one-handed swing. Alright?